Hey everyone, how's it going? Steven here. This is the first part of a two-part video series, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building this tower bridge in Minecraft using 3dSunshine. Let's just check it out. I actually have, if you want to check the corner camera, I have, let's put this around so I can see myself. Very important. I've actually made this physically, as you can see in the corner camera, and it was pretty fun to build. And this video for me is partially about using parts and part kits, and also partially about sort of exploring this like Lego nanoblock world and how that relates to Minecraft and 3dSunshine. This stuff, laws, if you're not familiar with it, is very similar to the stuff called nanoblock, nanoblock, things like this. All right, yeah, lots of cool models you can get. So let's get into this video. All right, so a couple of new things here. One, I'm actually going to be building this just in a plain, empty world, and I think pretty much everything I've done so far in this video series I've done in an actual Minecraft world. Here I'm just building in what we call the green plate world, which is really just a place to build stuff and make builds. We're also going to be using this thing that we call the user part kit, where we can store our own parts. And I'm going to start by loading up my part tray with this kit, which I'm going to use to build the first part of this bridge. All right, let's load it up. Yeah. At some point we'll make a button to do this in one step, perhaps, and get these parts loaded. All right, so the first part of the bridge that I'm going to build is actually, oh, what's a good picture of this thing? Yeah, I like this picture. Let's get it a little bigger. We're going to start by building this part of the tower, and basically what's going to happen in this video is you're going to watch me build this part, and then this little blue cable part, looks like a waterfall, and this part. I'm going to be making parts in this video, and then in the next video, video in the sequence, I'm going to use the parts and make not just this bridge, but a whole collection of bridges in my Minecraft world in some water. So that's in part number 2. Yeah. Let's get going on the first part. You see, I use the word part a lot here. Part number 2, in which I take these parts and build. Part number 2 of the video series, I use these parts. I'm also, to make this build, I'm going to be following along a bit with my instruction book here. And I'm kind of translating the instructions, which are kind of brick by brick, into 3dSunshine language, where I can do a lot of different kinds of things as I build. And this I find just interesting. I don't know if you're as fascinated by building as I am, you might also find it interesting. But I found actually, and I did a quick practice of this, actually this is the second time I've built this, because the first time the video got corrupted. But I find that sometimes it's just a little faster to do stuff the 3dSunshine way instead of placing all the bricks. And also sometimes it's a lot easier and more fun just to look at the model and copy that rather than following the instructions. So you're gonna have to bear with me if I'm a little bit of a loose cannon in how I make this structure. So basically this part of it for this little tower, we got some of these guys, a little space here we're gonna make. And then got these pieces. And I'm just gonna use line tool, fill it on up. Ta-da. And you see, there's something about having these pieces which actually has made it pretty damn quick to build. One of our thoughts of 3dSunshine is that we could give people pieces like this and they could build things in this Lego-like style. Curious to hear what y'all think about it. Comment on this video. Love to hear comments. Of course, as you comment, you're going to be liking and subscribing, because we all know how important that is. Anyway, I think I've done actually a good chunk of this tower. We got the gray, we got the white, and then we got a little bit of riffraff on the top here. So let's get into that. It looks kind of like so. A little of that, and one more of these pieces, and some detailing on top. Cool. All right, and that is pretty much my tower. So what I can do with this is I can take it, I can now glue it together and make a single piece out of it. Cool. And I'm going to transfer this into my part kit, like so. I'll put it up here, and then I'll go and I'll put it way up here. And now I can use it later, like next video. I'll be using that to do some builds. Okay, so that's the sort of small tower. I'm kind of following along. Where are we? Okay, so now we've done this smallish tower on the right, and here we have this larger tower. And larger tower is the part that I'm going to do next. So let's get into that larger tower. All right. So, oh yeah, so for the larger tower, I've also made another collection of bricks that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to load these parts up because they, I don't know, you be the judge whether this makes it easier or not to build, or whether you'd rather just draw things out in space. I think it's just different. I don't know if it's better or not. A lot of what we've been finding with 3dSunshine is some of what it does is just kind of different, man. You know, it's like some things are, especially when it comes to these creative kinds of spaces, you know, it's not always better or worse. Often things are just kind of different. And I think that's one of the cool things about what's going on with 3dSunshine is that, you know, whenever things in the creative world just happen differently, it just, new ideas come loose, things like that start happening. So definitely seeing a little taste of that with this building style. Just following along here in the instructions, and then I got another one here. Oh. One, two here. No! Stick here. Excuse me while I zoom in a bit and just get a little more accuracy. Cool. And this is actually, believe it or not, I think I've done half. There's some symmetry here. So I'm going to copy and paste and just duplicate this, like so. And we will exploit symmetry to get this done more quickly. One of the most surprising things for me about 3dSunshine is that sometimes I want to copy and paste, and sometimes I just don't. And it's really surprising. Sometimes it makes my life easier, and other times it's just one more thing to worry about. Anyway, that little bit of copy and pasting I think helped. Let's keep going. All right, next step, let's put these pieces down. All right, so we got doing some light gray work. We got like this oh yeah, these guys go here. And they look quite a bit like Lego bricks, don't they? Yeah, they kind of do. Nanoblock and Laws are sort of like a simpler, more gridded out, more pure pixel form of block building, which I think lends really nicely to the Minecraft world. Cool. All right, a couple more pieces here. So these just kind of stack on top, and then we get into some. We actually get into some funny. We get into some funny business here, which I think is actually just. You know, I'm starting to get to the point of just wanting to draw things. So. Oh. Mistake there. Yep. And another one. Come on down. No, not that one. And these pieces that I think. Yeah, one here. Yeah, very good. Keep on tracing stuff out. And we actually have some symmetry with the rest of this, but I honestly just gonna I feel like I'm being lazy by doing it this way, but I think it's, you know, maybe the blocks, I don't know. Do they make things faster? Do they make things simpler? You be the judge. Cool, all right, that's a base layer. And now with this, we're going to go ahead and do a kind of like a big flourish layer, and we're going to use these big 2x6, not this one, big 2x6 pieces to do it. And basically we have one here, and then we have a few here, and I'm just going to cheat just by drawing a line. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if that's cheating, but it's way simpler than having to drag and place them. It's really, let me tell y'all, one of the things I like about 3dSunshine is I've never liked building with blocks because they always fall apart and you can't copy and paste, and it's kind of cool to be able to, I don't know, just duplicate things digitally that feel like blocks to me. So, all right, now we're going to add a little more here. And again, I'm just going to do this with the line tool because I feel like it's going to be a lot faster, but I kind of have to make sure not to mess this one up. We're still working in gray, and I think we're just going like that. We're putting kind of a piece over here. And this part kind of looks like a U, like so. And then it continues on here, like a border, like so, right? I'm going to look at my model. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. And let me tell you, we are also going to have this thing here, which is basically just a column going up. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that column started. And we're also going to have a little bit of white on the inside. And this white is also going to be a column. So I'm just going to get that started as well. Let me tell you, every time I do it, I've done this, I did it, like I mentioned, I did a video that got deleted, and I did a bit of practice, and every time I do it, I kind of end up using fewer blocks and drawing more. All right, so these actually keep going up, and I'm actually just going to build 1/2 of this because we have some symmetry, and so I'm just going to take advantage of that and just build this once and then duplicate it across. But basically what we have going on here is in between these columns of white, we're going to have a few rows, like so, and like so. And then I think we actually have a third one on top here. Right? And that's kind of how this part works. And then over here, they do eventually cross from side to side, but not on this level. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and glue and make a piece out of this stuff that I just made. And I'm going to copy it on across before we go much further. So there we go, got a solid piece. And it kind of goes over there. So there you go. And yep, for some reason it looks funny, but it is actually correct. Okay, at this point, we're going to add a little platform to our bridge. And you can look over here, you can see we're going to have, like, we've basically gone up to this point, and then we have these, like, gray platforms before we put the top on the bridge. So the way the blocks recommend building that are to put basically, minor detail, there's like a, yeah, it goes up just a little more than I thought. So checking out the instructions, they sort of say I should do this as well. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that. Cool. Ah, yes, I'm going to go to world grab mode. Cool. And now I'm going to bring down a few of these. That one's white, not gray. There we go. These guys. And again, this is something that I'm sort of following the block instructions, putting the blocks down. It's kind of cool to build it this way. If I was doing it from my mind instead of from instructions, I might just trace and paint those out. But that makes for our first platform. And then we're basically going to go up another couple of layers and repeat the same thing. before adding another platform on. And so the way this one works, again, we're going to have the whites here. Mouse pointer out of the way. Right? I mean, I don't know if y'all have caught on to this, but like in 3dSunshine, you can just double click anything to duplicate it. So if I put it here, and if I double click, I get a copy of it. That's what I'm doing real fast, like when I'm copying like that. That's how I do it. Double click. All right. And then this goes up another layer, like so. And up like that. Cool. And then the difference between this lower layer and this upper layer is this upper layer actually, instead of being just a beat, it actually goes all the way across. So I'm just going to grab the sheet tool, and this kind of goes halfway, actually just there. So now when I duplicate it, it'll go all the way across. So you can see this is actually for cars and stuff to go through. If you can imagine, this is where we'll be walking through our bridge a little later, and up here this is sort of more structural. But that kind of makes for that layer. Let's go ahead and just copy and paste this. Curiously, building the whole thing and copying and pasting it isn't as easy on my mind as just kind of going one layer at a time. Yeah. All right. Let's put some more of these guys down. Do another one of these platforms. Like so. All right, and now we probably have what, one more layer, or a couple more layers. This, I can see what's going on here. We have another layer. Yeah, this layer kind of looks like so. So this one also has the whites on the corner. And this one basically has a piece here and another piece on top. I'm building on blocks. Not horrible to build with blocks. Like so. So double stack going across. And of course this, as you'll notice, this trend is really just the whole structure has these grays on the side. Okay, that makes for another layer. And even though I'm following the instructions, you can imagine taking this process and being a little creative with it in terms of how you structure your bridge towers. I think one of the things I really like about these instructions is they show me how stuff's built, and then I can kind of get creative on top of what I've seen. Maybe for another video series, I will do some creative tower building. Cool. All right. And now I think we have one more layer. I'll check my instructions. Okay, it looks like so. And then we're getting really okay. All right. So this layer, this one had 2 stacks. This layer actually just has 1. So I'll go and put that there. Get in line mode. So this one, something like so, but across, down, up, like so. All right. And of course, we have these columns keeping on going up here. All right. Again, let's duplicate that. Nice. Let me tell you, one of the most, oh, I didn't quite get that one. Let's try that again. Let's make that group a little better. Let me tell you, if you wonder what it's like to use this, people are always like, when they try it, they'll have a piece like this and they'll be like, how do I rotate it? And I'll actually literally like have to tell someone they can rotate their hand. It's that unusual for people to be able to rotate their hands on a computer and have the computer actually listen for once to their hand being rotated. Okay, so now we're going to put another layer up here, like so. Cool. All right, and it's done that way. And now we actually are at the very top. So if you want to go back to the picture here, we're now at the very top of the tower, and we're going to put a little bit of detailing here. So let's go back. And our detailing, here I'm going to pay a little more attention to the instructions. The instructions are actually going to tell me 1, 2, 3. Ah, yes. That I sort of messed this up. These should actually be white. So I'm going to bring down some white pieces instead. One thing we're not able to do right now in 3D Sunshine, but of course we have thought about and discussed, is the ability to recolor things. And that's something we definitely will do when we actually, finish the product and release it. It's something that we think is pretty important. As you know, 3D Sunshine is still very much a prototype experimental project. All right. So these pieces now go on top, and it's going to look kind of like, so we got one here, and another here, and we're going to add some crowning stuff to our bridge. So these 2, 3, 4 diagonals, okay. So here we're going to actually do a piece here, right? And these guys actually go out more diagonally. All right, and now on the next layer, we are going to actually kind of put a couple of these guys on. All right, so now we're going to actually cover this gap a bit. Okay, looks nice and solid. And we're going to drag out a little more, like so. Over here, and make a solid kind of thing. Cool. And then I think actually, a little more detailing and other things going on here. There are other things, okay. We have some columns going on here. Get those columns in place. I just love the way these details kind of come together, huh? Okay, and we have inside of that. All right, looks like we do something kind of like this. I'm just going to go back into sheet mode. So these go across like so, and these go up like so, and we're starting to get our nice little structure. And I think we're very close to the top of this tower. We're just going to put a few of these sort of darker pieces on, and then those are 3 high. I'm actually just going to start looking at my model to finish this. Here we go. These are 3 high. And on top of that, we're going to put a couple of these light grays. Yeah. Cool. And some dark grays. Like so. And that's going to make for, yeah. Just drag these out. And this is actually just sort of more of the same. Cool. All right. And that, I think, pretty much, let's see, actually, a little more detail here. Just put a little more detail here. And then we'll be done. A little bit of this. Instructions actually want us to put like some whites on top. And, you know, whoa, let that go. And this, okay, sure, why not? Cool, all right, that makes for a pretty handsome tower. And now that we've built this tower, we're gonna make a part out of it. And so I'm just gonna glue this into one big piece and kind of really glue everything. And now I'm gonna take it and move it up into my part tray. And now I'm just gonna store it. Cool. And now it'll be around for later. And now I'm actually going to make the final two pieces, and I'm going to actually use these to help myself make the pieces. One of them is the bridge segment. And actually, I made a few pieces here to make it easy for me to build the bridge. I'll just drag them on in. Actually, this piece is also useful for this building that I'm about to do. And for those of you who, by the way, I think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm re-recording this video because we had a technical failure and the original part 1 of this video series got deleted. So basically I'm re-recording this part 1, and then we're going to, the part 2 though I actually did already. So if there's probably some minor differences between this and the one in part 2, you know, please don't, well, you're welcome to talk about it, but don't be surprised, all right? Cool. So, a few more parts. I need that one part. This one. I need you, part. I need you, part. Part, do I need you? Okay. So now we're going to make the part that actually is the bridge. And so this, I'm going to make it real fast. Oh. Didn't mean to. Cool. Okay, so it looks like so. And these are all like a 1x8 blue and 2x8 grays, right? And now this guy, I'm going to start sticking on like so. And it's actually going to help me sort of figure out how to make the next part. So the idea with this is that you put a couple of these guys together, like so. And then this is also basically what goes, so now, just to refresh everyone, going back to this model. So now basically we've made this tower, and what we're doing is we're making this bridge part that'll go here, and also see the part goes in between the towers, and then we're going to make this waterfall-like cable. So put that down. We can also bring this in and sort of attach it, right? And so you can see the way this goes. You can actually move this forward and back any which way. And this part you can put here. And one thing you'll notice, actually, you can see it right there in terms of, as I was moving this, it kind of sticks in all these different kinds of places. So we've actually figured out something that we call these gold snaps, which I can use to sort of change how this thing actually snaps. So check out how this works. I go in here and I basically say, look, these are the only snaps that I want to be active on this piece. Right? And now if I click it and I drag it, it actually will only snap there. So none of these other positions will create a snap. It just snaps basically along the bridge segment. Similarly, I can do the same thing with this big piece. I can go in and I can say, hey, I don't want all of those snaps to work. I really just want, I don't know, we could say like some snaps, like a couple down here, right? And I'm also, just for the sake of better building, going to put a couple of these gold snaps up here because we might want to attach things later, and up here because I'm going to attach some things in this very video. And this is kind of the final step for making the parts. And the idea is that once we have these snaps in place, It's kind of like it's almost like a simplified building thing where things only go together in certain ways. So that's something we're experimenting with to make building more powerful for all of us. And then you can see, since I have these on, this thing, which used to be really difficult to kind of get onto the bridge segment, all of a sudden it's a little easier because it only will really snap kind of like I want it to, right? Pretty cool business, huh? Okay, so now with these gold snaps, I'm actually going to use them to, we sometimes call them stickies, by the way. I don't really like the name gold snap. I'm a little happier with the name sticky. We're in the market for a better name, so if you have any suggestions, feel free to drop a comment in between liking and subscribing. Actually, I'm sure you've already subscribed to the channel, of course. But anyway, so now we can actually take a few more of these guys and basically draw out, you know, these guys together. Sure, why not? Stick these guys together. And kind of make a piece here. Stick a couple more of these guys on. And this makes kind of our cable. I think we got a double down here. Right, and now also with this part, I'm going to do the same thing I did before, which is I'm going to make, basically make a part out of it. So, just like so, I can sweep these together and make a part. Alright, and now this part also I'm going to give some gold snaps too. So I'm going to put, on the bottom part, I'm going to put some gold snaps. Sweet. Put this here and this here. Okay, so now with these snaps in place, this guy all of a sudden doesn't move around as much and really just sort of locks into place here. Interesting. We think it's interesting. We don't really know how good this is. We just think of it as interesting. And now what I can do is I can take these parts, and just to sort of show you a bit of how this works, we can build, you know, this half of the bridge, and then we can take these pieces that we made earlier, you know, we can stick them over here. Whoa. Grind, grind, grind. And then you can imagine this, you know, this part actually sticks up here, and I will, you know, so this part has no gold snaps on it, so it still just sort of snaps together like usual. But basically from here, you should be able to pretty well imagine how this could be, you know, these pieces could be put together to make a tower bridge. And we're actually going to make a lot more than just a single tower bridge. We're going to make a whole bridge network in part 2. I know we're going to do it because I already filmed that video. And before we go, I'm just going to, so we made the parts, and the parts I stored before didn't have the gold snaps on them. So I'm just going to update our part tray with these new parts. Okay. Actually, yeah, I'll clean my scene out to this part too. The gold snaps on, very good. And this is good. Oh, I don't need that one. I need this one. This one. Okay. So these are basically my 4 parts. The rest of the stuff we can just get rid of. And before I leave, I'm going to take them. I'm going to actually replace these parts with the new parts. And I'm going to unconventionally end one of my build videos with emptiness. You want to see a tower bridge? I'll see y'all in part number 2 of this video series. All right, thanks everyone.